back to Let's Talk Premier League. It is the Arsenal show, and these two boys are fairly happy. Have you sort of come down from the North London derby, or are you absolutely still buzzing?
Bit of both.
Absolutely buzzing.
I'm a bit of both. I am buzzing, obviously. It's an emphatic win, but now obviously our focuses are on the Europa League and the West Ham game, so it's a little bit of both.
It is. Everyone watching, please like the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. I hope you like the new layout. We're adding things all the time. There's new stuff coming pretty much every day. We've got a new Twitter page, so make sure you check out that. It's at Let's Talk EPL. I think we all know what EPL stands for, but for anyone who doesn't, English Premier League for some people are a bit slow in the head. Also, make sure you follow us on TikTok at Let's Talk Premier League, where we'll be uploading all the best bits of streams. And what else have we got? We've got a Discord server, so make sure you check out the Discord server. Saul's at some point, once he realizes how to use a Discord, will be on there at some point. That's sort of like his homework. But we've got lots to talk about, lads, haven't we? We best start off with Captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, there's been a lot that has sort of happened in the last couple of days. Obviously, he was dropped for the North of London derby due to what we believe lateness, and then just walks out of the Emirates without doing a warm down. What on earth is going on? And what's your thoughts on this?
I don't think it's anything too serious. I think it's just the manager, showing some authority in the team and, saying, listen, you're the captain, you're supposed to lead by example. And if you're showing up late, then I've got to make an example out of somebody. And he can't really have the captain as well, of all people, showing up late. So I think he's dropped him to kind of show that he is there to show authority and he's there to, prove that he's the main man of this team. And I don't think he looked happy in training recently. I mean, obviously I could understand his frustrations being benched in a massive game like the North London derby, especially when he's been scoring some goals recently, but I don't think it's anything too serious to worry about. And I expect him to be in the starting 11 come Thursday. So
Luke is fairly relaxed about this. Sauls, what's your thoughts? I mean, it doesn't look good, especially being the club captain. What's your thoughts?
I think it's a build-up of a few things that have led to this decision being made. I don't think it's just this lateness. I think with Arteta, he does need to command authority. And if he allowed this one to kind of just let it go, for example, in a game like this. Now, even when I played football, Sunday League or even semi-pro level, if you were late for training, you got fined. Even if you're late for a game, for whatever reason, you weren't starting that game. You might become a bench appearance, but you'd never start a game if you're late to the preparations or the tactical meetings. Anything that you're late to, it prevents you from playing. That's just a standard protocol. So that's why I'm not too fussed about it. And I do think Arteta's just done what is standard of every team. And this is the Premier League. So this has got to be the highest of the highest standards. This isn't, some Sunday League team that you're playing for, or without disrespecting them. But, it's not like you're getting paid. This is your job. If you're late to any job, there are consequences, whether that's a verbal warning or whether that's taken further to a disciplinary action against you. So it's nothing. Look, it's nothing to be like, oh my God, what the hell? It's just standard in football. If you understand football, if you've ever played football, to even in an institution, you'll understand that this is just what happens. But I do think, also like his sort of mentality hasn't been in the game either. I feel like he's his mind somewhere else. It just doesn't seem like the Aubameyang we've known at Arsenal. If you look at the Olympiacos game and you look at the Burn, and I know people are going to say, but against Burnley he did score and then Xhaka did what he did. I get that, but it's not the right response. And then he comes on Twitter and he says what he says, and saying, "Oh yeah, we created chances, but we didn't take them. It is what it is." But my problem is there's a lot of things that are now adding up. And I've backed him all season. I've always said, look, give the guy time. He will come back and he'll be good for us. But you have to now question certain things and certain things that he's doing. And I think this is just one of those added to the list of now you're coming late to one of the biggest games of the season. This is, and I said it before the game, this is where you become a hero, you become a villain. That's how big this game is for Arsenal and for Tottenham as well.
Yeah, 100%. And what's your thoughts on him not doing a warm down? Look, obviously the lateness that happened, but to then just basically just walk out the Emirates, is he trying to like test Arteta's patience or something? Because if I was the manager,
how true is it? Because I've heard rumors about it, but then it could be anyone.
He apparently wasn't there. I mean, obviously speculation is speculation, but if he hasn't done it, if I'm Arteta, I'm beyond raging because like.
I think even it shows with the players' reactions as well. Every single player is with Arteta on this one. That just goes to show how much of a deal it has become. But I do think there is a bit of British media propaganda every time, certain clubs, I'm not going to say just Arsenal, but there are certain clubs when they're doing well, they feel like, throwing them under them, or certain even players, should I say, they throw them under the we can see it with Sterling, we've seen it with, even with Greenwood, we've seen it with Foden, you'll see it with Arsenal players, there's certain agendas that this British media has. And if that is the truth, obviously, look, I'm not 100% sure how true the story is. I've heard it a lot, so let's say that did happen. I think that just shows how weak his mentality is becoming. And I think because he's gotten what he wanted out of the club in terms of this mega deal, it's starting to become that Ozil 2.0, and I don't want it to be that. And I'm not saying, I don't know, it's early days and, there's a lot of personal things going on in his life, but I don't want it to become a situation where we've given this guy the mega deal that we have of, being the top earner, bonuses going all the way up to about £350,000. It's a lot of money he's earning. It's not a small chunk of change. And he's the club, ultimately, right, even if you forget about the money, if you forget about everything, he's the club captain. You've got to lead by example, which unfortunately, especially this season, he hasn't done that. So if he's then gone and turned around and not warmed down with the team after, look, he fucked up. Let's be real. You came late. No one made you late. You turned up late. For whatever reason, we don't know. What you then have to do is try and make it up to the team. Yeah, he's lucky it hasn't cost us and we didn't lose the game. Because if we had lost that game and this would have happened, I think a lot more people would have turned by now and would have been a bit more upset and a bit more angry at him. So the least he should have done is stayed with the team. Whether he warmed down or not or just sat on the bench, that's up to him. But just be there. You're the captain. You should be there. Unless something's happened at home, I don't see why you're not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest look. Luke, what's your thoughts on him deciding not to warm down with the substitutes? And if you've been a part of football or this, a cool down is absolutely required in almost every team. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean,
can I just quickly say De Bruyne scored a screamer? But yeah, carry on.
I'm not too sure what to make of it because I think it's just out of pure frustration that he's not done the warm down. I mean, obviously, listen, it's not excusable, but I'm just like, I think the reason he's not taken part is purely just, there's a lot of built up anger you'd have if you're not starting as club captain in arguably one of your biggest games of the season against your biggest rivals as well. There's going to be frustration, but I mean, I don't care how angry. I don't care how angry you are.
Your biggest game, can you? You could argue that Arsenal, Tottenham, North London derby is your biggest game.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100.
I mean, exactly, and that's probably even worse. That probably adds to it. But I mean, I don't care. I don't give a shit how angry you are. You warm down with the team. You don't throw a strop just because you haven't been played. It's your fault. Yeah. It's your fault you're not in the team. So you got to make it.
Just do your job in that. Just suck it up. Do your job. I mean, it's not like he's not paid a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
he's on a hefty wage, right? You fucked up. Just take it on the chin, move on to the next one. But this
Your
this
club
sort of
captain,
behaviour,
man, show some fucking lead by example. If you get dropped, you work 10 times as hard to try and get back into that team.
Yeah.
But you're not. You're
I mean,
throwing a strop and you're going home because you got dropped.
Yeah,
because it was your fault.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. Look, if he was treated badly, I could sort of get it, but I saw nothing from what Arteta did to suggest it was anything
but it's
wrong.
standard. It's standard protocol. Anyone who's played any sort of
course.
decent level of football, you'd understand that. That's
Sauce,
what happens.
It's any level of football. Any level of football. If you're late, you accept to deal with something.
I think it's just even more embarrassing for Aubameyang, the fact that Martinelli hasn't been played and he's working his fucking bollocks off in training, and Aubameyang's here playing week in, week out, and then he gets dropped and he doesn't do anything to show why he should be back in the team. I think you're getting shown up by a kid here who's actually being treated badly, but he's trying to do something about it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. A couple of comments here. Harry saying Luton are beating Coventry 2-0 and they are down to 10 men. Surely we can't lose this. You would think not. You'd absolutely think that you wouldn't. Big up to Harry in the comments. Hopefully we'll be getting you on some streams very soon. And a sort of neutral is exactly what I've been needing. You remember how Sonny had that neutral? It was me, but you know how Sonny had that neutral for the football addiction. I need my own neutral. I need a neutral. That's what I need. Billy saying Lacazette is a big game player. From a United fan, I think Arteta is the right man. Luca saying hi, how's you? I'm all good. You two good?
Yeah, we're all good.
And who's Plymouth playing tonight? MK Dons, and we won't talk about that. I'm sick to my back teeth with them wankers.
Oh, so you've already played them?
No, we're playing. But I've just we're 1-0 down because our defense is shit again. Marco, I have absolutely no idea what any of that says apart from Arsenal and
it looks German. It's
German. It's saying when Arsenal is not, the last bit is Arsenal is not very good. Haha.
Oh, right.
No,
it's always nice.
It's always nice when people laugh at Arsenal, even when they win. It's always.
So
nice
I'm guessing the next thing you're saying he's Aubameyang shit because obviously it's Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that nicked a good. I think that's how you say it. Not good. I have no idea. But big up to Marco in the comments. Please make sure that if you're watching, you are subscribed to a channel with notifications on, because we've got plenty of stuff coming. We've got obviously the Arsenal show tonight. God knows what's coming tomorrow. I'll probably be doing something. Normally do. Thursday is the reviews or match reactions of Arsenal and United, big games in the Europa League this week and this week. Friday, obviously, we have the Liverpool show, the angry counselling session. God knows what mood Demsbury will turn up to this time. I mean, for the first couple, two of them were depressed and one was completely deluded, and then the last one.
Now they're all deluded.
Well, no, now two of them are just fighting each other, and one of them is just sitting back enjoying watching their mates tear each other apart. And then make sure you're here at 10 o'clock on Friday for the United show, 10 p.m. Always, as always, is the United show, and this is the new time slot for the Arsenal show, by the way, just in case people get confused. I know the Arsenal show has been moved around a lot, but this seems like a convenient time to be doing it halfway through a week. But what I want to talk about next is Guendouzi. Now, Guendouzi has... it's 2-0,
City
is it?
2-0 up.
Yeah, I think they're just about through. Don't call Genie deluded.
Well, who said Genie?
I would say don't call Tom depressed, but it's unfortunately true. No, I mean, Genie...
They're all lost it now.
Do you know, Craig, we love the Liverpool lot. We absolutely do. There's a lot of love between this group. We might not show it to each other, but there is that.
Yeah, off
fondness.
stream there is, yeah.
Oh yeah, mate, absolutely. That group chat is full of love, mate. Absolutely full of it. Some nights I'll just randomly type in Liverpool is shit for some apparent reason. I don't know what comes over me when I do that. But what I want to talk about is next is Guendouzi. Now, man has opened his mouth, and when I say that, everyone goes, "Oh God, what's he said?" Now, relax. He's
do you want me to read some of the quotes, like word on word?
Yeah, he's actually not been a twat. He's genuinely been fairly respectful. So I mean, either Hertha Berlin have done something to calm his attitude down, or he's maturing finally after having a kid.
So Guendouzi obviously had an interview, and he said, and some of the quotes from that interview are, "I'm not a bad boy, quite the contrary. If you want to succeed, you have to have a very good character, but also this personality to always want to be the best, always want to win, to progress. It will differentiate you." And another thing that he said is Guendouzi and the Arsenal career is whether it's over or not. He goes, "No, not at all. I'm focused on my season with Hertha Berlin. Next, we will have a sit down with my entourage and the people of the club to think and discuss the future. I am still an Arsenal player. This summer will be a decisive moment. I am here at Hertha Berlin to improve. From the moment that I am playing for Arsenal, I will give everything for this club, for the fans, for the team, for the staff. I will work hard for the shirt as I have always done." So that's essentially, if people haven't seen the interview, what he essentially has said.
Obviously, him and his entourage, I didn't realise he hired the same mafia as Roman Abramovich, but clearly all footballers now have an entourage, apart from Marcus Rashford, whose entourage is food for starving kids. But, start with you, Luke. What do you make of Guendouzi's comments? For the first time ever, an interview that hasn't completely blown up in his face. Improvement.
You know what? I thought it was a good interview, to be fair, especially from a person like Guendouzi. You know, he said he's not a bad boy, but I mean, I disagree a little bit with that. But
I disagree massively with that.
You need players in the team that have character. I mean, his attitude isn't the best, but you know, it is you need character in the dressing room, and I think he brries it. And
maybe Arteta just needs to be a bit less sensitive. Like maybe he just needs to how do I put it? Grow some balls and just go, look, he's a fiery character, but it's my job to deal with that. I mean, you'd never see Fergie shirking responsibility on Roy Keane, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, he said at the end that he'll work hard for the shirt, as he always has done. And to be fair, he's not wrong. I mean, every time I've watched Guendouzi in an Arsenal shirt, he is one of the players that works his bollocks off, and I've commended him for that because, you know, he may not be the best player yet, and he may not have the best attitude, but he works hard for the team, and he seems to be a player that has a lot of fight and spirit in him. I mean, he took it a bit too literally on the pitch against Brighton, trying to chokeslam Neil Maupay, but I still think that he's a player that I like, regardless of the attitude. I think he's a good player, and I'd hope for him to have an Arsenal career because I think he can genuinely become a talented player. I mean, look, I reckon he's going to be high on life this summer because he's been captain. He's captain of the Euro, the France under-21s team for the Euros, which is a good accomplishment for a young man.
It's a good accomplishment, but Jesus Christ. He's going to show Roy Keane levels of captaincy there, slapping people about. Don't score a goal and you're going to get a choke slam.
He said it himself. It's going to be a decisive summer for his Arsenal career and his career in general because, you know, if he leaves here, you know, it could be a big blow, but it could also be a blessing. But I mean, I'd like to see Guendouzi stay because I think he's a good player. There are attributes he has that I like, and I hope for the sake, if we do sell him, that we're not letting him go for a ridiculously stupid price because it could come back to bite us. But no, I'm happy with the way his interview went, with the way he conducted himself, and I just wish him, you know, that he can mature and he can come back to Arsenal as not only a better footballer but as a better man.
Is he a DM or a box-to-box midfielder?
He's a box-to-box, I'd say. Yeah. He's a very good ball carrier.
That's a bit annoying because if he was a DM, he could probably take over Xhaka. But that's a different story for a different time. But Sauls, Guendouzi, has he finally decided to grow up and start acting a little bit level-headed?
I hope so. Obviously, the comments that he made in this interview do seem that way. He seems to be, especially with the announcement of the Euros captaincy, I think he's trying to grow into that role of being a leader. He's a fiery character. The problem is, right, it's the comments. The comments weren't necessarily the issue. It's when he said them. When everyone's basically financially struggling, you've got this kid who's come out and said, look, I make more money than you, this, that, the other, and showing off the amount of money he's making. It's just the timing was wrong. I don't have a look. I
wouldn't ever say it's a good time to be saying that.
But it's just, do you know what it is? Generally, right? Like, just when no one's suffering, it's a bit of or whatever, and you could throw that, as a throw-off comment. But when you're in the middle of a pandemic where nearly 1 million people in the country have lost their jobs, people are struggling, more food banks are being used. It's just one of those where you do have to do something. And the fact that he refused to apologize for his comments and his actions probably peed off Arteta. And look, we're in a rebuild. We can't have players like that who are going to show no signs, not respect authority. I'm not saying you've got to literally bend over for them or anything and be a lick ass, but when you're in the wrong, like he was in that situation, you have to sometimes take accountability for your actions. And I just think that's the one thing he didn't do, hence why he got loaned out. Arteta gave him every opportunity to still be an Arsenal player. He took the mindset and the sort of the way he took his consequence was fuck you, and then Arteta was like, fuck you, I'm loaning you out. Simple. Like, it's not rocket science. And the thing is, right, worse things have been said on a football pitch, let's be fair, and less has been done. But what Arteta wants to do is he wants that dressing room to understand that I am the manager or the coach, whatever, role he ends up with. And that you have to respect. I don't mind you having a bit of a temperament, but you have to respect the fact that I'm the manager, and the way I want you to conduct yourself as players and as an Arsenal player is the way I want you to do. And look, we've always been a classy club. We might not be the most favoured or the most loved club, but the one thing that Arsene Wenger's always made sure is that we stay as a classy club. And when Guendouzi does that and refuses to kind of accept responsibility, it goes against, firstly, what the Arsenal DNA is and what the Arsenal fan base expect from their players, to take accountability when you're wrong.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest look, and I feel that under some managers since Wenger left, there's been a lack of discipline. I mean, that's as clear as day. Sort of our players doing their own thing and a sort of lack of respect. Now, I may not think that Arteta is the greatest manager ever. Far from it. And I may not necessarily agree completely with his man management. There's a lot to be desired for. But the one thing you cannot question is he has a style, whether that's right or wrong, and he's going to implement that. Now, everyone lives and dies by their decisions. Obviously, every manager in the Premier League will live and by a decision. Is it right that Arteta just takes full control of what he wants to do, and if it goes wrong, he'll die by that decision? Not literally before anyone calls me out. But he'll fall on the sword per se and lose his job. Do you think it's right that he, even as a young manager, that he implements what he wants, and then so be the consequences, or is it that he needs to adapt?
Do you know what it is, Niall? I think this fan base is confused to what it wants, because when Wenger kind of was coming to the end of his reign, one of the criticism we always had with Wenger was he seemed to never take, he never was ruthless, he was never transparent, he was never sort of, this sort of discipline was never there. Ozil, Aubameyang, Sanchez, Giroud. There were many players in that team who, you knew what the 11 was, regardless of performance, regardless of what they did. They could literally shag his wife and he'll still play them. There was a lack of authority, which kind of, that's part of why we're suffering today, because there was never any discipline. Now, you don't have to agree with his style. You don't have to agree that, look, he's in full control. I think that's what Arsenal need right now. Someone that's going to go there and lay the law to them and say, look, if you don't follow the law, this is the consequences. That's what I want. I want him to be fair with every player. Every player knows, like, everyone signs, the code of conduct, should we say, before the season starts. And then if there's any alterations, they all get discussed anyway. So it's not like the players didn't know what was expected of them in terms of the way they conduct themselves. I've played football at a decent level, and that's the team I played for anyway. That's what happened at the start of every season, and that was when I was like in the under 16s as well, and playing at the under 18s.
Same with me.
Yeah,
It was
everyone agreed.
You didn't necessarily have to sign it, but
but you'd agree, like mutually agreed that that's all good.
Normally, the first training session back before in pre-season, you'd all gather around, and the boss would be like, "Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. Anyone got any alterations or any suggestions?" People would chuck it out there, and he'd be like, "Right, cool. This is what we're going for the rest of the season. Don't be a twat."
Basically, yeah. And so it's not like the players don't know this, and the problem that we've had at Arsenal. Anyway, I'm going to talk more about Arsenal. I don't know about other clubs, but at Arsenal, that's never been implemented. We've never seen players be taken accountable for anything they do, whether that's a manager or whether that's the players or whether that's the board. No one has ever been accountable for the actions that they've caused. So and now that Arteta's come on, we've all asked for it. As Arsenal fans, let's be real. When Wenger was there, that's what we asked for. Now that it's happening, we don't like it. I don't understand that, because I'm happy with the way Arteta's done it, because he's saying it to now, look, he's done it to the club captain. There's no bigger player in that team than your club captain when you're in a Premier League team. If he can do that in a North London derby, you bet your ass right he's making sure every player is held accountable and held to a higher standard, which will ultimately make them winners and make them more successful, because they know they have to conduct themselves right, get their mentality straight, and want to be here. And the funny thing is, right, it's funny how he's done all this, yet the players have massive respect for him. Not a single player has really come out, and nor has the dressing room been lost because of his decision. Even after the Aubameyang situation, like I've always said, the reason why you can't strip him of the captaincy is because he's a big personality. And if you upset him, maybe the team harmony would go. Now I'm actually re-questioning that question, because he dropped him, but none of the players backed him, which was what surprised me the most about that, because I was expecting a bit of a backlash, maybe like a Lacazette or someone in that dressing room to make that a problem. But not a single player, not even one, right, came out and said, I don't agree with that decision. Not even Aubameyang came out and said that. Yes, he was pissed off and he's done a few things which he might regret now. But when you look at him at training, I think they've squashed the beef and they've spoken about it, because that's the other thing I love about the way Arteta conducts everything. He tries to keep it in-house. Of course, a lot of leaks happened, and it looks as if he's gotten rid of that. And that sort of core group that were leaking a lot of information to the press. And ever since, right, he's trying to keep it in-house. Even with the Aubameyang situation, he was like, look, I'm going to deal with it. Look, it's a disciplinary reason, but we'll deal with it ourselves. And then even after the game, someone questioned that one of the press people asked him, what was the Aubameyang situation? He goes, that's for us to know, and we'll deal with it in-house, and, it'll be dealt with. He never puts his players under the bus, regardless, whether it's to do with mistakes, whether it's to do with anything. So I do think, the way he's conducted everything has been right.
I completely agree, and just want to say, big up fucking Plymouth. You finally learned where the back of the fucking net is, you bunch of twats. Congratulations on scoring a goal. Well done, Conor Grant. Of course, it wasn't a fucking striker. It was a central midfielder who's been playing left wing back all season. But of course, that's the way that it is going. We're in some dire shit form. But big up Plymouth there. Luke, can't even remember. Oh, discipline. Are you liking this style of sort of discipline that Arteta's bringing, or do you want him to maybe soften the approach? I mean, especially of like the likes of Guendouzi, less so Aubameyang, because I think when you club captain and you've reached the age he has, you should can well expect.
1-0 Madrid, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but Madrid have just
How
put it
dare you. But no, like, what's your thoughts on the whole approach that Arteta's sort of taken?
Do you know what? It's a hard question to answer because, like, I like the fact that he's a young manager and he's got this strict style because, you know, he's like, yeah, I may be inexperienced, but I'm not here to take your shit. But at the same time, that attitude, it can cost you your job and it can cost you the trust of players. Luckily, Aubameyang loves Arteta and trusts him a lot. So, you know, that decision, as correct as it may have been, you know, it's not going to make a player like Aubameyang happy, but, you know, he seems to be fine with it. You know, he seems to understand what he did was wrong. But, I mean, you look at some of the players. Well, I mean, the main example is Guendouzi. You know, he's sent him out on loan because of his attitude. And, you know, there are signs of Guendouzi, you know, understanding. There were times where he was a bit of an idiot, you know, that he needs to mature a bit. But, I mean, at the same time, this strict style, you know, it's not going to always like be the best way of managing players. There are players that won't agree with you, that will clash heads with you. And I think, you know, if you're too stubborn and you're too strict, then it will cost you, that player, and their trust, meaning they might want to leave the club. So, but I mean, listen, he's a young manager. He's still learning. And I think this style of management so far has been fairly successful, you know. There's not many times where his style of management in terms of man management has really been poor, bar the Guendouzi and Saliba situation. But I mean, apart from that, I'm happy with the way he's doing it. And listen, if it keeps bringing, you know, if it works, then it works, and if it doesn't, then it can cost you your job. But for now, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone watching, please smash that like button. Let's get as many likes on this as possible. And make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And as I say, make sure you follow our new Twitter account at Let's Talk EPL. And make sure you follow us on TikTok at Let's Talk Premier League. Also, go join our Discord server. It's starting to get a bit bigger. There's new people in there. All the regulars are in there. So if you've ever wanted to chat to one of the regulars, give them a bit of grief. I know Charlie does it on a regular basis in the comments, but if you ever want to have some banter, they're all in there now. So let's say apart from Saul's, Genie's not in there. Bless Genie. He didn't really understand what a Discord was, and he seemed very shocked when we explained what it was. But you know,
he was like, "Wow, this is amazing."
Yeah, I know. He was in utter shock. I don't think he could comprehend what was before his eyes. I thought these teenagers were meant to be smart in terms of technology and all these new fancy things, but clearly
Genie's an exception.
He's a special, delightful young man who we all adore. Who can get slightly excitable, in that right? But I want to talk obviously a North London derby. But sort of not just, obviously, we've done basically 2 reviews of that now. We did a match reaction. We did a weekly review. So we're not doing a review on it, right? We all know that the penalty, may have been a bit harsh on Tottenham, a bit of a soft penalty. Lamella was a bit of a twat. He did a great Rabona and all of that. But what can that win springboard Arsenal season? Obviously, the league is as near finished as possible. But do you think you can take this form into the Europa League, which is going to be vital? I mean, look, Arsenal's best chance of Champions League football is to win the Europa League. Now, does this victory over Spurs, no matter how poor they were, is that a springboard onto bigger and better things, you hope?
I mean, it's really hard with us because every time we get a big win, you expect us to go and build momentum, and we don't. We fail. But I mean, listen, after our last 2 Europa League games, which was the first leg of Olympiacos and the second leg of Benfica, we had 2 hard games after that, which was Leicester and Tottenham, and we've come out of those games with 6 points, which is pretty impressive. I mean, we have a tough run of games now especially it started with Tottenham. And then we have West Ham next, and then after the international break we have Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, those aren't easy games at all. But I mean, listen, if we hopefully we can rotate a bit for Thursday, get the job done. And then, we have the full team. Hopefully Saka's fine. Hopefully that injury is nothing to worry about. I wouldn't recommend starting him on Thursday because that's a stupid risk. But, hopefully he's fine. We coming into that North London derby, we had a full fit squad, which was pretty impressive considering the congestion of fixtures in this season. So credit to our medical team on that front. But yeah, it is unfortunate that we get an injury, but it hopefully, touch wood, that it's not a serious one. But I mean, listen, this game on Thursday and the 2 games coming up this week are big ones. It seems to me that we are pretty much job done in Europa League, but West Ham is a very big game.
Yeah, we'll get into the West Ham in a bit and all of that. We haven't heard Southgate's international squad yet, have we? We've heard the under-21s.
Yeah, we've got the under-21s, which Greenwood's a part of.
Yeah, which I'm actually...
I'm quite happy.
We won't dwell too much into it. Obviously, big up to Smith Rowe and Nketiah, even though Nketiah, I mean...
He is the under-21s, isn't he? He is just England under-21.
He's just a bit shit, if I'm being
brutally honest. He's the captain and the top goal scorer, though, to be fair.
Well, yeah, but Luke,
do you know what it is?
I'm going to say that... No, I'm going to say this. If he was any good, he'd be in the seniors right now. You don't normally spend your entire career in the under-21s or until you reach the age of 21 or 22 or whatever. I mean, it's just, for me, look, he ain't going to make the seniors any day soon.
No.
But obviously another call up for the under-21s. I'm sure he's buzzing. Smith Rowe obviously has been included. That I know some Arsenal fans are like, why is he not in the main team? And I'm like,
I don't want him to be.
Well, let's think about why he might not be in the main team. Is he better than
way
Foden?
Better players? Yeah, I'm sorry, but there are way better players.
Is he better than Mason Mount? No. Is he better than Jack Grealish? No. Shut your mouth. But no, I mean, under-21s, obviously he'll be a part of it with Greenwood. And for me, Greenwood, if he can bag a couple of goals on international duty of the under-21s, that'll be huge for his confidence, I feel. But we will be covering both the under-21 fixtures and the senior games on this channel, most likely via a watch-along. I'm thinking we'll probably do watch-alongs of them games instead of like a preview and a reaction. I think get a few of the panel on. A ton of English.
We can just start like half an hour earlier before the game, give our thoughts and everything, and then obviously we can just do the watch along kind of thing. So be merged into one.
RJ probably won't join us, being the fact that he is a little bit Irish, and Matt also won't probably be there because he's also a little bit Irish. But big up the Irish panel. But Smith Rowe, England under-21s, excited, or are you just thinking, for fuck's sake, he could do with a rest?
Yeah,
I hate international duties with every fibre of my being. They're unnecessary, they're stupid, and they're fucking boring, man. I'm sorry, when I'm not sitting here waiting all this time for Arsenal to play. It's just boring. I don't care. Like, unless it's the Euros, I'm not asked about England, man. I don't want to watch Southgate football in a friendly or whatever it is.
It's okay, Luke. It'll be more entertaining with us all on a watch along. Trust me, the banter will be flying.
But yeah, I mean, I'd prefer it. Do you know, I'm happy for him though, because he's playing in a great squad. That under-21 team is fucking fantastic. You're playing alongside, Hudson-Odoi,
Greenwood, Curtis Jones, Hudson-Odoi,
Oliver Skipp. There are some fantastic.
Tom Davies, Tanganga, Ben Godfrey,
Wilmot's in it.
Aaron Ramsdale, goalkeeper, who I do rate. If he has a good defence in front of him, I rate Ramsdale. It's a good England side, to be fair. And
it really shows the promise of our young up-and-coming players, because there are a lot of good players there. I think, it'll be good for him, getting some league football. We might enjoy it. He will enjoy it. He'll enjoy himself because he's playing with his mates. So, I mean, it'll be good for him to get a run out. It's a long break, so he will want that football, and he deserves to keep playing football because he's been excellent recently. And I mean, I could do without an international break because it's just a risk of unnecessary injuries, but is what it is. So I'm happy that he's in that team.
The last time I checked, I don't think one man could bring down the entire FA, but you're welcome to try. If you're really that mad about it, you'll send a strongly worded email to the head of the FA, even if there is even a head of the FA who isn't a racist son of a bitch. But Sauls, Smith Rowe, he's going to be playing with some very good English talent alongside him, the likes of Curtis Jones, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Greenwood. I mean, just saying them four names in the same sentence is probably going to strike the love of shit out of every team that they face, and rightly so. They've all proven to be excellent footballers. But what's your thoughts on Smith Rowe being in the under-21s? Obviously, we all know. Well, if you have a brain, you know why he's not with the senior squad. But a little bit of sort of international duty. I mean, it won't do him any harm, will it? Unless he gets injured, of course.
Yeah, hopefully not. No, I mean, obviously, it's the most logical thing to do because it's a natural progression. You know, you don't make the senior squad straight away. You have to prove yourself in like an under-21 setup, unless you're more of a Jamie Vardy, for example, where he kind of broke through into the Premier League quite late in his career. That obviously, you know, is the exception to the rule, should we say? But usually, you know, you play for the under-21s, the under-18s. You start your setup kind of like you would for any team. Like, you know, you start playing for the under whatever age and build your way up, and you know, you get your call up, and that's when it really matters. But this is just give yourself a good account, you know, play it the best you can. I mean, it's a bit annoying because obviously the guy could do with the rest. He's, you know, we can see kind of like how strained he is and how fatigued he's looking, and he's picking up these weird like sort of muscle fatigue, you know, injuries where it's not really major injuries, but if you don't manage them carefully, they can lead to something big. And I don't think this will do him any good. But the under-21s isn't as intense as, you know,
it's also the under-21 European Championships. So these are not friendlies. These are the real games, and this is why we'll be covering the under-21s here, because for anyone watching, these are the European Championships. This is the under-21 Euros.
Yeah,
and obviously the support is needed for them.
But yeah, no, I think obviously with the players he's got around him, he's not the reliant player, if that makes sense. He's not going to be the only one that's going to be, whereas with that Arsenal, him and Saka have been very dependent on that, which is obviously why they're having to work harder than probably a lot of youth players traditionally do. Same with like Greenwood. Greenwood's depended on, so he's having to put in like 10 out of 10 performances, you know, every single week, which even for the best of players, you know, can become too much, you know, for their bodies to handle. So for a youngster that's still sort of growing and developing, and you know, their bodies haven't grown yet, they're still growing within themselves, because some people grow to 18, some grow to 21, so obviously it just depends. Obviously the development of their bodies is still getting there. Obviously transitioning from like youth level football to Premier League, you're having to then bulk up, or you're finding yourself needing to do certain things in the gym or off the pitch, should we say, to help you cope. And that's everything that Smith Rowe and Saka and even Greenwood to a level are now having to kind of figure out. You'll probably see them in a different stature in terms of their bodies next season. You'll probably see them like Rashford did. All obviously he came from this like very sort of skinny build to quite a muscular build.
We saw it with sort of Greenwood over lockdown, didn't we?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember seeing him, but he looked like a skinny little teenager that could get chucked around the football pitch. And now he looks like he's going to do the chucking around himself. So we do see that. Saka being the only exception, because Saka for me is just he's just a little shit, basically. Like he is going to get thrown around the football pitch a fair bit.
He reminds me of a Neymar. Do you know, like where he can be that body build and it's fine.
Fuck it. Why don't you just say he's as good as Mbappe? I'm joking.
No, I'm not saying as good. I'm just saying he reminds me of them level of where it's fine for them. Like I know, look, Neymar deliberately falls over, right? He's one of them, but if you ever watch him, he's actually quite a strong player. Like, as in, he can hold his own, but obviously, when he gets into certain, when he gets into certain position, he chooses not to and try and win a free kick or a penalty. That's what I get a reminder of. Saka, he's one of those. He's a very honest player, but he does hold his own. But sometimes it gets too much. For any player, even if you are hench, you're still going to get thrown about. It's just what happens in men's football.
Yeah, 100%. Gaming saying, "Am I late?" You are about 45 minutes late, but it's all good. We're not even finished yet. Trust me. We keep these shows go on for about an hour and a half maximum normally. And with Arsenal, there's always stuff to talk about. But everyone watching, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow our Twitter at Let's Talk EPL, follow our TikTok at Let's Talk Premier League, and make sure you join our Discord server. That's getting bigger and bigger every day, new people joining. So make sure that you hit that up as well. We just talk. It will end up just being random stuff being spoken about. I am absolutely sure of that, especially of Dom in there. I know Dom has joined, so it's definitely going to have some of the entertainment and God knows what he actually ends up saying. But let's preview West Ham. Well, actually, no, scrap that. We'll do that in a second. Let's do a sort of a combined 11. We don't need no screen or any of that. But Luke, obviously Lenoing. I'm presuming you keep.
Sorry, combined 11 for what? Sorry.
So Olympiacos, with obviously the changes, you want to rest players.
Oh,
not
right,
combined
okay.
11, but pick
starting
11.
11.
Yeah, starting 11. So I'm presuming we'd both go Leno. You'd both go Leno and go. I'll be quite shocked if it's otherwise.
Yeah.
You
could put Matt Ryan.
There's no need to take the risk of playing Matty Ryan or even Carl Hein, for fuck's sake. But
what about Runnison? What about Runnison?
He's not eligible.
Oh, why?
They told him to fuck right off, innit?
No, it's something about. I'm not sure.
Was he not? He wasn't registered, was he?
No, I don't know. I can't explain. I can't remember. It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
It's a weird one, right? Right back, Bellerin or Cedric?
Bellerin.
Yeah, give Cedric a rest. He's our first team. His first choice right back.
Centre backs, Holding and
Holding on Mari might be the one,
Oh, Holding Mari. Yeah, I didn't even think of Mari. Left back, keeping Tierney. Not really.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Unless you were to take Tierney out, play Chambers right back, Cedric left back.
We wouldn't need to move. No, we wouldn't need to play Chambers right back. We could just use Bellerin and Cedric again.
Yeah.
No,
I'd want to see Tierney. I still think he needs some players.
He needs some in there. I'd say midfield. The midfield.
I want El Neni, and I want to go for El Neni and Xhaka because I need Partey. We need Partey to rest, really. If we're being real,
don't want to be playing Ceballos because that man has got more mistakes than my old maths book.
Another name that I would throw in there is probably Chambers in CDM. He was Fulham's player of the season, and he seemed to be solid in that position. I wouldn't be opposed to him playing, but I think if I was like, I'd probably go with like a Xhaka and an El Neni partnership, just because we don't need to win. We just need to, even if we keep it at 0-0, a boring tie. That's all we need, really.
Yeah, 100%. Cam, Odegaard,
Smith Rowe.
Nah, I'd go Odegaard. I think Smith Rowe needs to be sent on a spa day. So I'd go with Odegaard. I think I go with Odegaard because he doesn't seem to be fatigued, whereas with ESR seems to be getting tired quite quickly at the minute. So I'd give him a rest.
Odegaard's barely played all season, so he'll probably be up for another game. Success.
That's why I'd go with Odegaard just for that.
I'm guessing the wingers you're most likely to go for Pepe William, right?
I want to see Martinelli.
Yeah, I would like to.
But we have to be realistic and know that Arteta has some sort of agenda against Martinelli.
No, I don't think it's an.
We will talk about Martin. That is one of the talking points because a couple of Arsenal fans have sent out some tweets which are fairly interesting on what they say. But who would be your wingers? I'm presuming it would be something like Pepe.
I think
Willian,
Pepe, because he was rested, obviously brought on at half time, but he was kind of rested from the starting. And then I think Willian, just because I think in European competitions he's kind of suited for it. And I know that sounds bizarre, but I do think he's that sort of, he's tactically aware of what he needs to do. He keeps things simple. And I think that's what you kind of need in the game. Well, if you're going to play a Pepe, then you're going to need someone that can do, on the opposite side, that can do the simple stuff right, and that would balance it well. So I'd say Pepe on the left if we're going to play Bellerin right back, and then I put Willian in front of him, and then I put Pepe on the left with Kieran Tierney behind him.
That's a shout. Luke, do you agree with that one, or
yeah,
run us in a right wing?
Well, in an ideal world, it's Pepe and Martinelli, but that winger partnership would work perfectly fine for me.
Yeah, and up top, Aubameyang or Lacazette or Nketiah?
It'll be Aubameyang, just because he didn't play.
Aubameyang.
I think it's just because he didn't play.
Sorry, I had to stop you playing, but you can play this game. You've been a good boy now, unless obviously he's late and then he'll have to get dropped again.
No, I think it's one of those where he's got to. I think with Aubameyang, right, he seemed to have taken it on the chin. I know his reaction on the bench and all that, but it seems like from what's come out and what we've been hearing, that he's taken responsibility for what he's done. He's accepted that, and I mean, you wouldn't be smiling for the games like the training sessions after if you were completely in disregard, if you didn't accept it. So I do think he's learned his lesson. We can be harsh and drop him for the game, but then I think you can't keep dragging it and making it because that will make it a bigger issue than it actually is.
You need to move on, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that seems like a fairly strong team that should get the job done. No shocks, I would hope, to Arsenal fans, because I
hope to God there's a big shock in Martinelli playing. That's all I want to see. I want to see my Martinelli play.
Let's talk Martinelli before we preview the West Ham game.
Yeah.
I mean, what the f*** is going on? Like, brutally.
All right, one thing I'm gonna mention one thing, right? The problem is, right, because Arteta's job, I'm guessing, was on the line, he kind of brought Martinelli back a month early, which was a big mistake. Because we can see even in that City game that he was brought back in, and the games even after that, he was picking up little injuries and knocks and niggly injuries here and there. The problem is what I personally think Arteta's doing is saving him for next season rather than risking him this season because there's nothing to play. I'm not saying there's nothing to play for. I just think there's enough players there that have now stepped up that he doesn't have to rely on Martinelli, and he's saying to himself, okay, if I play him and he gets another injury, I'm fucked. So he's thinking, if I just give him till the end of the season just to kind of train with the team, because ultimately, right, Arteta's biggest thing is he wants to turn him into a central player. But he's thinking, Lacazette's been fine and Aubameyang, he turns up here and there. I don't have to rely on Martinelli. That's my... and then, look, I could be completely off the ball and I could be completely wrong. The problem with this Martinelli situation is nothing's been said by the club, by Martinelli, or even by Arteta or any representative of the club, whether from press to anything. And it's very sort of been kind of locked down within the in-house. And I think the reason why I'm not too concerned, I know a lot of fans are concerned, he's going to leave, he's going to do. My thing is, if he was going to leave, you'd know. You'd get a big feeling from him, looking at him, you'd know. And I've not gotten any inklings, right, or any worries that he's out of the door, because I think that would have been a lot more apparent by now that was happening.
Luke, what's your thoughts on this whole Martinelli thing?
Yeah, it's hard to comment on because...
Public apology to Arteta needed?
Yeah, it's hard to comment on, because like Saul said, there's not a lot coming out about this story and about what's happening. But I mean, listen, he seems to be working hard in training on his finishing and his overall game in the number 9 position, which is a good thing because it's clear Arteta wants him training to become in that central role. But I mean, it's getting to the point now where there has to be at least a little inkling of something wrong. as to why he's not even getting minutes.
Do you not think that if it was just saving him for the whole season, Arteta can just come out and go, look, he had a very bad injury. Don't have to say we rushed him back because that looks bad, but you could just say he's had a really bad injury, so we're just taking our time to make sure he's okay. Like, do you not think that Arteta could have dealt with this in a slightly better way?
100%. This is one of my biggest criticisms of Arteta right now is this Martinelli. Like, the Saliba and Guendouzi, we know what's happened, so that's why I don't really comment. And I think he's handled it the way he wants to handle it.
We all know what's happened with Saliba.
Yeah. But this Martinelli situation, right? It's a bizarre one because like, for me, right, the reason why it's so bizarre in my head is because it doesn't seem like anyone's this happy or angry at each other. I think it's like Martinelli's still working very hard. I mean, a clip came out today of him scoring like a bicycle kick, scissor kick kind of thing in training today. There's things coming out about him. Even in the Olympiacos and Benfica game, he was celebrating with the players. So that's why, like, it's such a weird, bizarre kind of scenario where I think Martinelli's accepted, and I think Arteta and Martinelli have mutually agreed that maybe the best thing for his future is not to play the remainder of the season and only being called upon if absolutely necessary. Because I think there would be a lot more coming out about him. Because in a sense of, I think Martinelli would have, like Balogun in a sense, like Balogun kind of hinted at like a lot of digs at the club. It wasn't like a direct, like obvious hit, but the timing of his tweets and certain things that he tweeted just seemed to be very calculated. But Martinelli, nothing on social media, nothing in the press, not even from the players, not even Aubameyang, no ex-player, no sort of player that's been on loan, no former like a Mustafi or a Kolasinac. No one has come out and said, oh yeah, by the way, the treatment of Martinelli's been wrong. So I do think there must be something mutual because the thing that it is a baffling one because, you know, with like the Saliba and the Guendouzi situation, we know a lot more. And even with the Aubameyang situation, we know a lot more. So it's easier to comment on. But when we look at this whole Martinelli story, nothing's been said, which is the most bizarre thing. But I don't know what you feel, Luke, because obviously, like from my end, it's like I'm not worried because I feel like a lot more would have come out in the press if there was something to be worried about.
I'm just going to say fuck Argyle because, of course, you can see the penalty in the 89th minute to give them a 2-1 win. Congratulations, Argyle. You fucked it up yet again. But I'm starting to sound like fucking Arsenal here. But Luke, what's your thoughts? Could Arteta have dealt with this in a better way, or?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Because think about it, he's a young kid, and you know he's had that injury can really fuck with a player mentally and physically. You know, it's one that can really put their career back a few years. And I mean, he could have said something like, you know, I don't want to rush Gabby back. I don't want to pressure anything or trigger any more injuries. So, you know, I'm going to let him have, you know, the rest of this season off. And if he really requests minutes, then yeah, I can give them to him. But, you know,
you could just say that unless he's absolutely required, he won't get minutes this season. But could he not play for like a couple of under-23 games just to keep him ticking over?
But yeah, this is my thought process. Like, if he's not going to be, you know, in your plans for the first team, at least, you know, do what he's done with Reece Nelson in a sense. Is just let him play in the under-23s because there's no point just having him rot away and not get football because when you have an injury like that, the thing you need is to play football to get your sharpness back, to get you know yourself back to 100%. And I mean, he's been working on a new position in training, but I still think he deserves.
One of the other problems is
but you we don't have any in that new position with the under-23s. Couldn't he? He could play striker for the under-23s.
Yeah, but you know what? You know, I agree with that as well. But you know what? One of the other things is we don't, not in a disrespectful way, but we don't have any meaningless games anymore. Every game we play, we have to give it 110% in those games.
That's why I'm saying give him some under-23.
But I think one of the interesting things kind of came out when you know, some of the ex sort of Arsenal strikers have were doing shows on YouTube, and they were talking about the Martinelli situation, and they go, "Do you know with how physical the striker position can be, it'll trigger another injury." So that's why, like, I'm not as worried about the whole situation as maybe some people are, because it's a major injury for his age. I mean, even players who are like more developed and within their careers struggle coming back from this injury. So I think it's difficult because the issue is we don't know anything. We don't know whether he's just on the bench just for the vibes, or whether he's, because he could actually just be injured, but we're just putting him on the bench for some bizarre reason. I don't know why, but it is stupid. I know it sounds stupid, but like, I don't know. Look, I think Arteta just needs to come out and tell us something.
The way I would have dealt with it is, I fully get, don't play him in the senior games and don't play him in the most physical league in the world. I can get that. But the under-23s ain't going to be any demanding physical job that he's going to have to deal with. Let him have a run out, even if it's on the right wing, or if you are teaching him a new position, let him play striker in the under-23s. He's hardly going to be battered and bruised by a ton. I just think a bit of communication probably doesn't go amiss, and but you know, the other thing, I don't think anything's there for. I think if it was becoming an issue, I think they would have told us something. But I think because it's just they're both happy, like communicated to themselves that nothing's come out. But I think the fan base will come to an unrest if something isn't said. But I don't think anyone's really questioned him either. Martinelli's one of the best young prospects Arsenal's got, and sort of, you don't want to be knowing that one of them's rotting away doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I know some Arsenal fans have gone, it's all because he's an Emery signing and Arteta don't like Emery signings. For me is a little bit ridiculous, if you ask me.
I think that whole notion is bullshit, because why would you come to a player to save your job that you didn't depend on or you don't rate? That's just utter bullshit, because when Arteta started playing him and brought him in early,
I like how I put it nicely, and Sauls is just like, it's just bullshit. You're all idiots.
No. But like, what I don't understand is the logic of, if you played them in meaningless games, I totally get where you're coming from. But he played them in Chelsea, City. He was playing them in games that basically made or broke your season. Like, if you didn't rate a player, you wouldn't be doing that. Especially not in a game that your whole managerial career is on the balance of, and you go and play him. Like, how do you not rate him?
I don't think the Man City one was. He played Runnison in goal, for fuck's sake.
No. But meaning, like, in that run of games where he did play, was more to do with, people would have turned, and we were like 14th when we played him. Clearly, the man rates him to get him out of trouble. Otherwise, he would never play. He would have bring him back a month early from his sort of expected return date if you didn't rate him.
Yeah, no, of course. I completely get that. Everyone watching, smash that like button. Subscribe.
I think people are just being very fucking impatient, to be quite frankly honest with you. I think you have to understand. Look, I'm not saying, look, I know I keep bringing it up, but it's not that when I've played football, right, even when you get a slight knock, the worst thing is, when you get rushed back. And I think sometimes thankfully, right, in my life, I've never really broken a bone or had anything to that, like, sort of magnitude where it's been a, like, career changing or anything like that. But when you do get even those knocks, right, it flipping takes you time to get back in. And I think that's just one thing we need to be a little bit patient and trust him, because otherwise I genuinely think the club would have said something. Somewhere in the hierarchy, Edu would have come out, because Edu's Brazilian and he wants the Brazilians to do well. He would have come out and said, Arteta, what the fuck are you doing? That's my fucking player right there. What the fuck are you doing?
That's a fair point. Everyone watching, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow our Twitter at Let's Talk EPL, follow our TikTok at Let's Talk Premier League. They're both up above mine and Saul's head, which I thought is quite a nice, funky place for it, to be fair. You don't want to know how long it took me to actually do that. So the less said about that, the better. Gaming saying, what other shows will there be this week? Tomorrow, God knows. I did chuck in a good idea in the group chat, so we might do that. I think Saul knows what I'm on about. It's a tiering one, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
Sauls knows what I'm on about. But
Yeah,
Luke,
now I know. Yeah, now I remember. I was thinking, shit, what did he say?
it's a good idea, though. I think it will cause
Yeah.
a lot of debate, won't it? But Luke, you've got your heads in your hand. What's just happened?
Vinicius Junior's just run through 4 players and then pokes it wide at the end.
That's
What?
Vinicius for you, mate. That's Vinicius for you.
That is criminal. That would have been an absolute fucking worldie if he pulls that off.
You know, that's his biggest prize. His final product is a wank.
Yeah. Static saying, "Hey guys, I just liked." Absolutely good man, and big up to yourself there. The other shows, I got sort of missed out there. So tomorrow we might do a ranking. I'm not sure. I'll get back to you guys on that, or you'll see it appear. That's the best way. Make sure you subscribed, and you'll get notified when we go live.
And follow on
sure
Twitter, because mainly we would start tweeting really early on when these shows are happening.
Yeah, we normally tweet early. So if you wanna know what's coming up, make sure you follow the Twitters. Twitter. Not Twitters. Thursday we've obviously got match reaction of Olympiacos Arsenal and Milan United. And then Friday we've got the Liverpool show at 6 p.m, the United show at 10 p.m. Saturday, God knows, I haven't worked that far. But that's the ones for the week. The weekend, I'm sure there's a match reaction of the United game versus Leicester in the FA Cup. Then you've obviously got West Ham, Arsenal. So we'll have them for you as well. Harry saying, great stream, guys. Keep up the good work. Big up to Harry in the comments. Thank you for your support. And Gaming saying, are you doing the draft thing this week or not?
No, we're going to leave it for a bit, I think.
Probably not this week. We don't want to overuse the draft. It's a very good, and it was an immense stream. It was a very long stream as well, but we don't want to overuse it. It will then get
You'll
too
probably
boring.
see it like once a month kind of thing, just because it does take a lot to do, but it's a lot of planning. But I think if we keep doing it every week, it's just going to lose its sort of wow factor. And it's also thinking of different. And by the way, actually, now that you mentioned it, give us some ideas. What would you like to see? Because we were thinking like under 21s, under 23 draft. If there are any sort of quirky drafts that we can do, actually let us know. So it's a good thing that you brought it up.
100%. Oh, Sunday. That's the show we've got for Sunday as well. Is a banter show. Finding a host for that. It's not going to be Dom. Dom said he wants to be a panelist. God knows what on earth he's going to be saying as a panelist.
You know what? Do you know who'd make a good host for that one? Actually, RJ, because he's just a shit stirrer.
He's already got the United show. I want to spread it around. I might even be asking you, Sauls, or even Luke. I haven't decided.
I was going to say I'll do it. I think me and RJ would probably make good hosts for that show.
I feel like for the banter, I don't want to host that. I want to be the ones giving the banter. I've got plenty of questions, so unpopular opinions is going to be a good one, I think. But we'll definitely have that one planned. You might even see Harry. Might try and get Harry on that because I've been on a couple of streams of Harry, and he's a good one. So that'll be good. Gaming saying you could do different teams and people have to choose players from the team they choose. Yeah, maybe. And it can be from history. Yeah,
that's going to be difficult to simulate, but we can definitely do that without a simulation.
Yeah, we can also. I was thinking under 23s or something.
That'd be a wicked one.
That would be good.
You could do like obviously all English draft as well. That would be pretty interesting.
That would be sick.
That'd be hard.
Yeah. That would be good. And we all know that I've won the league twice in a row. So my title reigns are quite good, and I have a better title defense than most of the Liverpool ones. Well, especially this year's. But getting back to Arsenal, obviously, Olympiacos Thursday, don't really need to say much about Olympiacos. But I do want to touch upon West Ham. Now, West Ham are in a very good position at the moment. But, yeah, they're in a very good position. Lingard is on fire.
That's
got
what
some
I'm
very
worried
good
about.
players. They've got some good players. Is it at the Emirates or at the London Stadium?
It's at London Stadium.
Okay, so you're not gonna have Lingard doing some disgusting dance on your turf again. But Luke, starting with you, what's your thoughts? Obviously, West Ham, big game as well, isn't it?
Massive game. Every game in the league's a big one now, regardless of our league position. You know, if we're going to make this serious, you know, push up the table, if we want to get European football next season without having to try and win the Europa League, you know, we're going to have to take every game as seriously as we can. And, you know, regardless of the opponent, you know, you're going to want to beat them. You know, if it's a smaller opponent, who cares now? We need to beat everyone. Yeah. So, I mean, and West Ham are by no means a smaller opponent. No disrespect to West Ham. They are in a very serious push for the Champions League right about at this stage in the season. And I mean, they've got a good team. Moyes is doing a fantastic job. But the thing is, with Moyes is how will he approach the game? Because against United, he went very defensive and it just didn't work for him. So, I mean, you could see a change in tactics against us. But, you know, it's all about what happens on the day. Whoever turns up on the day and wants the 3 points is going to is going to get them, and we're going to need to fight till the very end if we get those 3 points.
Yeah,
and I mean,
absolutely.
Beating West Ham would be a good result for us as well. You know, there are teams around us dropping points. Villa have been on a poor run of form. Spurs could drop points from here. You know, losing the North London derby that can not do good things.
I didn't realize they lost it. I haven't heard about it at all.
But yeah, I mean, listen, it's a big game. We needed to win it. We need to win it in order to not only, you know, climb up the table, but, you know, keep the momentum going from that Spurs win, because it's something we've been very, you know, I don't know the word. Something we've been, you know, we're very prone to dropping points after a good result.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, inconsistent. You know, you can always count on Arsenal Football Club to mess up after getting a win. So it'll be decided. It will all come down to it on the day. I can never predict anything with Arsenal.
That's a fair one. Gaming saying I was going to say I can host, but I remember dumb shit at speaking to people. Look, for the hosting bit, that is normally going to be if I'm not doing it for whatever reason, or I've decided that I want to chuck it or sit on the panel, it will normally be one of the regulars that have been on the shows and been in the channel for a while. It's no disrespect to anyone. It's just that's normally how it will go. Hence why, obviously, because I've known RJ, I think the longest out of everyone. It's why RJ got the first hosting job of the United show. But obviously, there will be other times that other people host different shows and all of that. But it will normally be the regulars that we have, and that's not anything to do with other people. It's just that's normally how you go. Gaming saying Arsenal are going to beat us if they get us in the Europa. I wouldn't say it's that easy to say that. I think it'll be a good game, that's for sure, but I don't think it's easy to say who would win at the moment. Harry's saying 2-0 Madrid.
Yeah, it was a bullshit penalty there. That was a bullshit penalty.
Yeah, it was never a penalty.
Like, he got fouled outside the box and he gave him a penalty.
Anyone watching here, this is Arsenal fans moaning about referees again. And then Gaming saying that's fine, Niall. But obviously, before we finish up, not before we finish up. Sauls, West Ham, what's your thoughts? I forgot to ask you.
Yeah, do you know, it's a funny one because against and I know people are going to say it's a bit, but against the bigger teams, we put in better performances this season. Now, the thing is, right, no one's been able to kind of, there are teams who have, but what I mean is generally, we haven't really been battered. We've more kind of lost because we've done something silly in a game. Other than maybe Villa and probably Liverpool when we played them at Anfield with the 3-1, where we kind of went for the goal, and that's kind of, we went to try and tie the game up, and then obviously they just went and beat us 3-1. We haven't really been battered per se. And also, it's because look, with West Ham, right, this season, it's all about the fine margins in this game. No one's really battered West Ham either. So it's quite a funny one because if we can take the chances we create, we've got a good chance. The problem is, can we? Because as much as we want to blame our defensive errors and mistakes that are being made from the defensive players, they kind of come after the fact that we've created like 6-7 chances to actually bury a game. So it's quite a strange thing because we're one of the most consistently inconsistent teams within the Premier League, hence why we're 10th. It's not really rocket science to realize why we're in the position we're in. The system I don't have a problem with. I think tactically we are set up quite good for a lot of teams in the Premier League. It's just those lapses of concentration, those moments of sort of madness that we go on to, where like Xhaka might make a mistake, David Luiz might make a mistake, even Kieran Tierney can make a mistake, or even Cedric. Or there's always someone who does something very stupid and naive, for a Premier League player. That's what's going to cost us now. When Luke said, I don't think West Ham approached the game in the right way, I think that's the way you're approaching it. You don't attack them because that's what they want you to do. So when you go into kind of a defensive shell, that's kind of like, oh shit, what the fuck do we do? That's one of the weaknesses I feel. Obviously, with signings, they'll potentially be able to.
You're on the right tracks when you say that a low block is United's Achilles heel.
Like they've not been. Yeah, they've won games with it. I'm not saying they can't beat them, but it's just what West Ham then failed to do was create enough chances to then either draw the game or beat them. So that's kind of where they kind of went wrong.
They weren't lethal on the counter attack.
Exactly. And I think West Ham were there for the 0-0. They didn't want to go there to score a goal or for them to concede. I think the fact they conceded kind of just put their whole game plan to bed because they were like, oh shit, like this is the one thing we didn't need to happen, especially when it happened as well. But saying that, if West Ham approach the game in that manner, it really favours us because we tend to do good against teams that don't attack us. Because even if you look at the Spurs game, for example, the minute they started attacking us, we were like, oh, for fuck's sakes, we could actually go lose this now. So that's our frailty. That, as a team, is our frailty because we're not defensively strong. We have been good.
Moyes isn't an idiot. He'll know that.
Yeah. So that's why, like, it's such a bizarre, like, and the thing is, it's funny how, like, every team that's doing a preview to West Ham is saying the same thing. It's not the fact that West Ham have all of a sudden become a good team. It's just they're very well organized. They're like this. They've been clinical in a lot of games, and they've been very fucking hard to beat. Even City struggled.
You've literally just said what a standard David Moyes team is: organized. Look at every Everton team he had. They were all very organized. They didn't allow people to. They weren't easy to beat, and that's the important bit of a David Moyes team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just us being just clinical and taking the chances we get, and then just trying to not make a major error. I'm not saying. Look, I'm not asking for a flawless game. I'm not saying that you can't. Yeah. Of course, mistakes can happen in different ways, and I'm not saying every chance we create we need to score. But it's just we need to take at least the gilt-edged chances, and the ones that where we're like, all right, fair enough. But the problem that we've scored worldies but missed sitters, and it's a bit of a what the fuck is going on here. So I believe Arteta, right, will set us up the way because that's what I see as a fan. Like when I take the results away of our season and I forget about the fact we're 10th, have I seen something which I truly believe going forward, if given the players and if given time, will get us competing at 100%? I have, because the system isn't the issue. It's just those individual errors that have led to us kind of drawing or dropping points.
Yeah, 100%. A couple of comments here. Harry saying, I've got to leave the stream. Take care, guys. Absolutely.
No worries, mate. Take care.
Big up to Harry in the comments. He'll be featuring on here very soon. Make sure of that. A great lad as well. As I said, I need that neutral. I need a me. That's what. Now, I was thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for ages. I was like, I haven't got a me. Donny was so lucky to have that neutral, and I haven't got one. So Harry will definitely be on here sooner rather than later. He's also a Luton fan, hence why he's the neutral. Gaiman saying we battered West Ham 3-1. You did, but David Moyes approached that all horrifically wrong.
Yeah, but we beat them as well, 3-2.
Yeah, but West Ham went out and tried attacking United, and you never go out and attack United. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Why do you think City very rarely beat United? Matt saying top 10 merchants, West Ham 5, Arsenal 0. Which I think is a bit savage. I can see Luke is delighted by that comment. And yeah, big up to Harry. But the last bit that I wanted to ask or talk about, and I feel like there's going to be two different opinions due to age. But that is, what is your favourite moment as a Arsenal fan? Starting with you, Luke. What is your favourite? What is your favourite moment being an Arsenal fan?
Wow, that is a really on the spot question.
Well, it wasn't really. If you had read the tweet that I posted at about 6:30, you should have seen it was in the ending.
Oh
yeah, but you didn't directly ask us, so I was just going off of what we discussed.
Why would I do that? Why would I make it easy?
Off the top of the head,
think of a few of my least favourite moments.
I'll give you my favourite moment when Thierry Henry returned and scored against Leeds. That was one of the
that is a shout.
Favorite, and I'll tell you why, right? Because it's a loophole when I say that, because it brings back every memory before that when he was out, like, with Bergkamp and Perez and all of that. And it kind of is a loophole into everything that Thierry Henry did, because that's what flooded my memories back. And fuck off, MSC, dickhead. Absolutely.
MSC saying 8-2 United Arsenal. I feel like that's. I'm not sure that's going to be one of their favourites.
I can think of a few of my least favourite moments, to be fair.
But would it not be one of the FA Cup wins you've had? I mean,
no. One. Do you know what? It's a bit of a strange one. It's a bit of a strange one.
Is the Hull FA Cup final, because that was one heck of a comeback. Should never have had to come back in the first place, but it was a very good comeback.
I'll tell you what, one of my favourite moments. It's a strange one, but it's because he's one of my favourite Arsenal players. I just love the guy. Cesc Fabregas' goal from kickoff against Tottenham, where he's just he's nicked the ball and he's run through Spurs. That was a beautiful goal, and it made it 10 times better because they cut back to him just about to enter the Spurs box, and then he sticks it past them. But I mean, thinking of my favourite Arsenal moments, a really hard one. I know my least favourite Arsenal moments. I could go on.
Go on. I want to hear this. Go on, tell us.
Yeah,
Champions
go on.
League final 2006. Van
Persie's
Persie's red card against Barca in 11-12, I think it was.
What about this one? Losing 8-2 to United? That can't have been a highlight.
Well, to be fair, did you see the state of the team we put out that day? We had Henry Lansbury playing for us. Like, that's just nah. Baku in 2019. That was one of the darkest days.
That was a painful one.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Henry's return, that was a great moment. That made every Arsenal fan just beam. That was a beautiful moment.
Sauce, what about you? Least favourite moment as an Arsenal supporter?
This is hard, man. Least favourite.
Came in saying 10-2 Bayern, 8-2 United.
Yeah, that even they were like, fuck, you know.
They were.
I think
Matt saying, did you see a state of our lineup that day? I feel like it was.
Okay, let me know when you have Carl Jenkinson starting for you. Cool.
I think my worst moment was when we left Highbury, because ever since we've just been fucking shit. So and all the promises that we got told that became bullshit. You know, that's probably one of the worst things to ever happen to Arsenal Football Club. Or we're going to compete with the likes of Bayern Munich, and then we get battered like 5-1 and then 5-1 again.
RJ just chuck in a bomb and running quickly. Sure, better than your whole defence, just saying. laughing my ass off. Can I get helps on that, Luke? Have a good stream, guys. He has literally dropped a bomb and walked away. Gaming saying being in a relegation battle.
Well, hey, listen, right? We've never been relegated. Your club has, so let us know how that feels.
Hey, don't talk to people about relegation, or I'll kick your ass.
I'm talking to United here.
Yeah, but I've seen my team relegated 3-0 3 times.
I ain't seen them be relegated from the Premier League, so just let us know, United. How does that feel?
That's because we've never made the Premier League. We're the largest city without for Premier League football. Brilliant stat, Wav, isn't it? It's not something you should be proud of.
It'll come.
I'm sure it will. It's happened plenty of times on Football Manager, that's for sure. Tottenham versus Ajax should be a highlight for the Londoners.
Well, they bottled it in the final, so who really cares?
United winning their 20th title. Matt saying, was anyone born in the 70s? No, I was a 90s
look like we were born in the 70s, mate?
I was a 90s baby. I'm definitely sure Luke is not a 70s baby. And I'm almost certain, I'm certain Sauls is from the same generation as me.
Pretty much, yeah, 98.
Yeah, pretty much the same generation. He was a 90s baby as well. I with generations, I do them like 90s, 80s because they all change. The generation now are fucked. That's me putting that politely.
Yeah.
The state of some of these people, I swear, mate. But I'm not gonna be slagging everyone. So did you. That's when we got relegated. 4-2 Chelsea, 2-1 Olympiacos. The United boys have definitely blowing some smoke.
Lost 2-1 to Sheffield, man. They're one of the worst Premier League sides in history.
I mean, try getting past the semi-final, lads. Like, fuck me.
It's okay. We're not gonna have a slagging match. We saved that for the banter show on Sunday, which is going to be good. I mean, 3 different clubs blowing smoke at each other. I'm gonna sit and there's me just absolutely destroying everything in my path.
I mean, if I'm hosting it, then I can just chill.
If I'm hosting, I won't say nothing, so I'll be calm. Like,
no, you know what it is? If I host it, I know I'm gonna end up like someone's gonna say something. I'm gonna be like, nah, shut up, right? And let me have my time, yeah. I have the host, just mute the hell out of everyone and just have my moment. But yeah.
Well, everyone knows me. I'll be blowing smoke to absolutely everyone in my path. It'll be like a demolition derby for me. Absolutely anything within my path, and I'll be smashing that lot up. It's going to be a good one, so make sure you're tuned in for that one. But we have come to the end of the stream. It's been about an hour and a half, which is decent for an Arsenal show. It's, I think it's our 4th one, is it now? It must be our 4th one, something like that.
Yeah.
I need to start putting episodes in the title, but we're going to get to that episode 1000. But that would actually be quite cool to see. So I'll do that in the future. But before we leave, make sure you have smashed the like button. Please, absolutely do that, or I'll be a very unhappy person tonight. And make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. We are 31 subscribers away from 100, which for about 3 weeks' work is not too shabby at all. Or 3.5 now.
That Zapta guy is shit, you know.
But yeah, that's not too bad. 31 subscribers away from 100. Big effort from everyone, and a huge thanks to all the regulars that appear and everyone that watches, because if it weren't for you lot, we wouldn't be able to do this. But where can they find you, Sauls?
Yeah, you can find me at Guna Sauls at Let's Debate Footy on Twitter and on pretty much on here as well. I'm pretty much involved in all the Arsenal shows, sometimes appearances on the United one. So yeah, and obviously banter shows coming up, so that'll be a good one.
That is going to be a good one. I'm excited. And Sauls is always here for the weekly review show. He does love a bit of that. He's the tech guy that normally does the split screen for me. But Luke, where can they find you, mate?
At Luke AFC and in the Discord channel.
Absolutely. And you can find me at Nile_PAFC.
Yeah, you can't find me on Discord. I don't fucking know how that works.
But yeah, you can find me at Nile_PAFC, and make sure that you are following the YouTube channel's Twitter at Let's Talk EPL. We've done a poll. Should Donny van de Beek leave United? That is the current poll. There will be other polls. There'll be news updates, stream updates. So make sure you've liked the or follow the Twitter. Make sure you're also following the TikTok. That's going to have all the funniest and entertaining moments of the streams. That's already exploded. That's got like 1,200 views combined. Hoping that some of you from there will be joining us on YouTube. And as Luke said, make sure you're in the Discord server. It's a new thing that we're getting, a bit of a community building, a bit of banter between the teams. It's exactly what we're looking for. But everyone, thank you for watching. Make sure you have smashed that like button, though. I can't emphasize that enough. And make sure you subscribed as well, and share the link on all your socials. Even though we're finished, get some. If you know an Arsenal fan, get them to watch the replay, and then make sure you tell them the Arsenal show every 8 p.m. Tuesday. That is when it is. Tomorrow we will have something. I'm not sure what. I'll figure that out. But everyone watching.